It was 2016 and John Cronin's high school days were coming to an end. The harsh reality was that John faced limited opportunities after graduation. He had been born with Down syndrome, but John had never let this hold him back. He tried, but he could not find a meaningful job. So with his signature enthusiasm and entrepreneurial spirit, John decided to make one. He told his dad that he wanted to start a business with him. But what business? John's first idea was to create a fun store, but he couldn't figure out what a fun store was. Then John saw the movie Chef, about a guy who quits his job at a prestigious Los Angeles restaurant and decides to launch a food truck business with his son in Miami. That was it. John would create a food truck. But there was one problem. John and his dad can't cook. Around Thanksgiving of that year, John had a light bulb moment. He told his dad his idea. And this idea was the beginning of not just a multi-million-dollar business. It was an idea that would change countless lives, starting with John's. Welcome to Generosity at Work, a podcast that explores the ways in which generosity is at work in our workplaces and how it's at work in the world. I'm Keith Jennings, a community impact executive with Jackson Healthcare. We ended the last episode with a question. What can generosity look like in a normal, everyday business? Well, in this episode, you'll meet a father-son duo literally changing the lives of their employees, customers, and neighbors. And I'm betting by the end of this episode, you'll not only want to follow their lead, but like me, you'll want to become their customer too. But before we jump into a conversation with John and his dad, we need to tee up how to frame what you're about to hear. Theodore Levitt was a German-born American economist and author. He was also a professor at Harvard Business School and editor of the Harvard Business Review. In 1960, he published a now classic article titled Marketing Myopia, in which he introduced a question that became a mantra of business leaders. The question was this: what business are you really in? In that article, Levitt told the story of the railroad industry. For decades, railroads dominated passenger and freight transportation, and then they started to decline. Why? Because railroad executives thought they were in the railroad business. According to Levitt, had railroad managers seen that they were in the transportation business, they could have capitalized on the opportunities that cars, airlines, buses, and trucks offered. Instead, they shrank as these new modes of transportation lured customers away. They were railroad-oriented when they should have been transportation-oriented. Had the railroad titans asked, what business are we really in? They could have seen the emerging opportunities in passenger and freight transportation. This question, what business are you in, is what I want you to think about as you listen to John Cronin and his dad tell their business story.
My name is John. This is my partner, my dad, Mark. Mark X Cronin. My dad don't want to be smart at his name.
Right, we don't want to besmirch any of those other Mark Cronins.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in Sean's Crazy Socks. And our mission is experience happiness.
As John approached the end of high school, he wanted to start a business with his dad. And that light bulb moment he had was to start a sock company called John's Crazy Socks.
Let's go back to the fall of 2016 to a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
We'll go to suburban Long Island in a town called Huntington. And where were you, buddy?
I was at Huntington High School. I could be my last year school.
Keith, this is something your audience may know. In the U.S., anywhere in the U.S., You can stay in the public school system until you either graduate or turn 21, the latter of the two. So people with disability frequently are in until they're 21. When you're in school, everything is right there in front of you. Your education, therapy, support. For many people, that's where they get their food, they get meals. It's daycare. Well, that 21, that's known as the 21-year-old cliff. Because once you go over that, you're on your own. So John is heading towards that 21-year-old cliff, trying to figure out what comes next. And what were you looking at?
I look at job, program, and school. I can't find credit I don't like.
And that's an unfortunate reality. Only 1 in 5 people with a disability are employed in this country. It's awful. But John here,
Yes.
you are a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am, Dad.
You didn't see a job you wanted. What'd you say?
I said, I want to create one. I want to make one. I told my partner, I want to go business with him. I want to have a nice father and son business together.
So this is pretty cool.
It's very
I'm a
cool,
lucky
Dad.
man
Yes, you
because
are.
I got 3 sons, and this is one I can work with. So,
Yeah.
but now, John is an entrepreneur, and if you know entrepreneurs,
Yes.
they have lots of ideas. They're not all good ideas.
I smoke in my ears.
Right? When John
I
thinks
think it's so hard.
that is he is, right? What was one of your ideas, buddy?
One of them is a food truck. I got an idea on a movie called Chef. One of the actor named John Farrow. It's a neat movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
So a food truck seemed like a great idea. Everyone out there, you've eaten at food trucks. It's great.
Well, I
right?
love pork.
Right, pulled pork, right? And we're thinking, what could we make and where would we put it? But we ran into a problem.
We can't cut.
Yeah. So it wasn't going to be a food truck.
No, really.
But then, right before Thanksgiving,
I have plenty of ideas.
it's Eureka moment.
I do. I want to sell crazy socks. Why sock cast? It is fun. It's colorful. It's creative. It always let me be me. I want crazy socks my whole life. My dad and I, Mark and I, to travel around, looking for those socks.
John was known for his crazy socks. He loved funny, colorful socks because they made him feel creative and expressed who he was in the world. From the company's bootstrap beginnings, the Cronins saw their small business as a social enterprise. The company wouldn't just sell socks. It would spread happiness and demonstrate what people with differing abilities can contribute and achieve.
John, right away, said, when we were talking, what do you want to do? He says, Dad, I want to make people happy. So what's our mission, John?
Our mission is a spread happiness. I should tell you, only two keys about that is gratitude and do for others.
Gratitude, do for others. It sounds corny or trite.
Yeah,
More we do for others, the better off we are.
absolutely.
And we have, and John really sets the example for us. We have this attitude of gratitude. We are so fortunate to get to do what we do. We are so fortunate to get to work with the people we do, to work with our customers, to meet people like you, Keith. And that imbues everything we do.
Right.
So, yes, right from the beginning in our mindset, we were a social enterprise that, a slightly different type of business model. We had a social purpose as well as a business purpose, and they feed off each other.
Remember Theodore Levitt's question? What business is John's Crazy Socks in? Well, on the surface, it appears they're in the business of selling socks. But that's not the business they're really in. John's Crazy Socks is really in the business of spreading happiness. And we'll look at the impact they're having after this short break.
Generosity at Work is made possible by Jackson Healthcare. As one of the nation's premier healthcare workforce companies, we're driven by our mission of improving the delivery of patient care and the lives of everyone we touch. Founded by our chairman and CEO, Rick Jackson, we began on a simple principle that talented professionals with a shared purpose can improve lives. Serving more than 10 million patients each year, we're proud to appear on the 100 Best Companies to Work For list by Fortune and the Companies That Care list by People. And we're always looking for bright professionals with a drive to serve others and grow professionally. If that's you, visit us at jacksonhealthcare.com.
From the company's first day as a simple website on the Shopify platform, John's Crazy Socks cooked generosity into its business model. And it started with John personally delivering socks to local customers.
And most of them were local, which made sense. We lived in the town of Huntington. We'd been there a long time. We had temporary office space there. John's in the high school. So how did we decide to deliver those first orders, John?
I red boxes.
Well, how were we going to deliver them?
Oh, our home delivery.
Right? Because in our bones, we're all about that customer experience of wowing customers. So home deliveries, and what'd you get? Start talking about the red boxes.
Yeah, I put in red boxes, put the socks in the box. I put a thickener a personalized. I put in a candy all the back for the kisses.
Right, we got big bags of Hershey's Kisses, poured them in the box, loaded up the car, drove around, and you knocked on doors.
I did. Knock, knock, knock.
And how did customers respond?
Customer responds, they love the socks. They want to take a picture with me, box their socks, the socks our customers love, and the customer, and share them all the pictures, and share it on social media.
There were times we're driving around. John's inside. He's knocking on doors. I'm out in the car, and he's inside. I'm like, what's taking so long?
I got a hot chocolate.
Chocolate, hanging out, taking pictures. There were some funny moments because just the two of us. So it's after 10 o'clock at night, and John's knocking on doors.
Yeah, knock, knock, knock.
With your socks.
Yes, it took me.
No. So.
Yeah, I Batman. He is Robin.
Right. Today, 7.5 years later, how many socks do we have, buddy?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks. I should tell you, I own the world's largest stock sock.
We have more choice than anybody else. We're not out selling Walmart and Target, or at least not yet. We've been able to create 34 jobs. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities. John has now donated over $750,000 to our charity partners, including more than $150,000 to the Special Olympics, more than any other Special Olympic athlete. We've shipped over 450,000 orders to 89 different countries. And we are rapidly closing in, shipping our 2 millionth sock. And John, as you like to say,
just get started.
Just getting started.
In episode 1 of this season, we learned that business generosity starts with seeing the business as a neighbor. It starts with going out and listening to the needs of others. In episode 2, we learned that philanthropy doesn't start with giving money. It starts with tapping in to our personal motivations, driving why we want to contribute to social change. And in episode 3, we learned that engaging and partnering with causes starts with prioritizing meaning, and that we're doing this for the right reasons. John's Crazy Socks checks all of these boxes. In a world of a gazillion sock sellers, this mighty little company is unique.
At the end of the day, we're not really a sock store. Right. The socks become physical manifestation for the story and the mission. And we've honed that over the 7.5 years, but really the first year of let's really be clear about what we're doing. So we've developed 5 pillars that we built the business around. John, you want to go through the 5 pillars?
Yes. It's spirit and hope. Give it back. Fun product you can love. Make it personal. And make it a great place to work.
Let's go back through those 5 pillars that John listed. Inspiration and hope. More than half of their employees have differing abilities. Giving back. They donate 5% of their earnings to the Special Olympics. They raise money through their Sock of the Month Club, and they make awareness socks for their charity partners. Fun products you can love. Every product is endorsed or designed by John. Making it personal. Every customer receives a thank you note from John, some candy, and a packing slip that tells you about the employee who packaged your products. And making the company a great place to work. Spreading happiness isn't limited to customers. It starts with colleagues who are happy with their job, workers who know that their job is important.
It's not enough to sell stuff. You got to give back. You got to connect. So we mentioned before, what did we start with, John? We donate 5% to?
A Special Olympic.
And we'll tell you, how long ago did you start the Special Olympics, John?
2001, I was 5 years old.
5 years old. If there was no Special Olympics, there would be no John's Crazy Socks. And we have a number of Special Olympic athletes working with us. Some of us have are coaches. We really love that organization. So you make that commitment. Then we've gone on to create awareness, what we call awareness socks, that celebrate causes, that call attention to them, and then raise money for those causes. So we started in December of 2016. In January of 2017, the 2 knuckleheads here, we are learning nobody buys much in January because they spent all their money at the holidays. So we're trying to figure out what can we do to sell socks? And that's when we learned that people celebrate World Down Syndrome Day by wearing crazy socks. John, when's World Down Syndrome Day?
March 21st, I celebrate a World Down Syndrome Day.
Now, you would have thought we knew that in advance.
Right.
We're not that smart. So we go looking, at that time we're always selling other people's socks. We go looking for a Down syndrome themed sock. Nobody made one. What'd you say, John?
Yeah.
What'd you say when we couldn't find one?
Oh, yeah. I said, I want to make one. I want to create one.
So John designed the world's first, and he designed it, the world's first Down syndrome awareness sock. And then we called up, we arranged for someone to manufacture that for us. We called up the National Down Syndrome Society and said, hey, we're going to donate money to you from every pair we sell. And they said, who are you? Like, John is now on the board of the National Down Syndrome.
And it doesn't stop there. Their mission extends to their tireless work speaking at events, testifying before Congress, and advocating on behalf of people with differing abilities.
We welcome tours in and work groups from high schools and social service agencies. So we've had more than 2,000 people tour our facility. More than 1,000 people participate in those work groups. And then that's not counting, once the pandemic came, we said, we do that online. So we've had school groups around the world come. And it's really important for people with differing ability to see people like themselves working and owning a business. It offers hope, it offers encouragement. Then we go out, we're like evangelists traveling. And we're grateful you have us on your podcast. We go out and we do podcast interviews. We do speaking engagements. So we crisscross the country, Canada, Mexico, speaking to groups. We do keynotes for conferences and business meetings and social service agencies. You like doing that, right, John?
I do.
And we stand up in front of people, we share the story about our business. We talk about, but depending on the audience, the power of a social enterprise. We talk about the benefits of hiring people with different abilities. And we can demonstrate, not just talk about it. And a part of it comes down to, again, right? Look at the two of us. We're a couple knuckleheads selling socks. And all we want to do, John, is
change the world.
Change the world. And if we can do it, what can you do?
What started as a small venture in Huntington, New York, quickly grew into a multi-million-dollar business. John's Crazy Socks has shipped around 500,000 orders to 89 countries and offers thousands of unique sock designs, including those personally designed by John Cronin. Along the way, John and Mark have appeared on numerous media outlets and even visited the White House. John's Crazy Socks is more than a sock company. It's a movement to change perceptions about people with disabilities, proving that everyone has something valuable to contribute. But it hasn't been easy. Their story is one of passion, persistence, and purpose. A father and son teaming up to build a business that truly makes the world a better place. And like Mark said, if they can practice generosity at work, why not you? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. It's rumored that Bob Dylan was wearing a pair of John's Crazy Socks when he accepted his Nobel Prize. And John said he may have started that rumor. Generosity at Work is produced by Jackson Healthcare's Love Lifts Community Impact Platform as a free resource for business leaders seeking to be a force for good in their communities. A huge thank you to John and Mark Cronin. Visit them at johnscrazysocks.com and buy some socks for yourself. Give some to your friends and coworkers. John's team can even make custom socks for your business or brand. And follow John's Crazy Socks on social media. I promise it will make you happy. Learn more about Jackson Healthcare and our community impact work at jacksonhealthcare.com.